And what did you make of Sophie Cunningham's flagrant foul on JC towards the end?
It was a flagrant foul.
You think it's like defending the team, or how do you view just how it
I view it as a flagrant foul.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys came for basketball.
Yeah,
Let's talk about basketball. Come on now.
What do you think of just how you all were able to pull in the second half, Caitlin, in
We're
particular?
going to the Commissioner Cup Championship.
Let's
That's
go!
pretty exciting. Y'all want to talk about that? Let's talk about that.
What do you think, again, in the second half?
What if we told you Caitlin Clark might walk away from the WNBA after just one season? That's right, hit one last three-pointer and call it a day. Between questionable officiating that feels more like a circus act and Marina Mabrey tossing fouls like it's dodgeball, Caitlin might have reached her limit. Is this supposed to be the League of Dreams or a reality show gone off the rails? Get your snacks ready. If this rumor is legit, the WNBA could be losing its biggest star quicker than a ref misses a call.
WNBA record. This is her second season. And you put the numbers together, that's like 10 seasons. That girl did it in 10 seasons. That means she had won a season. Caitlin Clark is... when Caitlin Clark gets to 10 seasons, she's going to have 100 of these. And y'all can't get a girl her roses. Now, I don't like the fact that she be getting woke because she don't want all these lesbians to be mad at her. But at the end of the day, is the woman putting in the work, she's putting in the work.
It's official. Fans are tired of watching Caitlin Clark get treated like a sacrificial lamb by a league that can't seem to choose between growing or gatekeeping. For the second straight season, she's stuck at the center of a never-ending drama. Expected to lead, share the spotlight, smile for the cameras, sell out arenas, take the hits, and still thank her critics. But fans aren't just annoyed anymore, they're outraged. The Protect Caitlin movement has evolved from memes into a full-blown emotional custody battle between supporters who cherish her and a league that keeps tossing her around like she's disposable.
This is all going according to plan. This is ideal. Caitlin Clark is holding up her end by being awesome and by being a trash-talking jerk on the court. Love it. Her teammates are holding up their end by having her back. The other players in the league are holding up their end by not liking her. Perfect. Couldn't have written a better script. Caitlin is talking trash to this girl's hard fouling her. Her teammate Sophie Cunningham, who got a black belt in Taekwondo at the age of 6, she's like, I will F you guys up. All of it's great, and Caitlin's a killer. 10 out of 10, no.
Let's be real. Caitlin Clark is the main reason anyone's even talking about the WNBA beyond Tuesday night Twitter debates and nostalgic gym clips. TV ratings have skyrocketed, jersey sales are through the roof, and arenas are selling out in cities that barely knew they had a team. She's basically the face, the spark, and the three-point lifeline of the league. And how has the league responded? With questionable officiating, frosty vibes from teammates, and more elbows than a WWE SmackDown.
Caitlin Clark is driving the WNBA insane. It's to the point that she may need to step away from the WNBA, have a billionaire come in that has the money to prove a point, and say, Caitlin, I'll pay you $50 million just to see if the WNBA can make it without you. Let's go create a complete different league and expose the hell out of the WNBA just to embarrass this Angel Reese girl that Jameel Hill just said she could go down as a Michael Jordan of WNBA.
Yeah.
Remember, when people claimed Caitlin Clark was getting the same rookie treatment as everyone else? Yeah, if by welcomed, they meant getting mugged at midcourt while the refs stare into space like they lost their glasses in a Looney Tunes skit. Caitlin doesn't need a welcome party. She needs bodyguards and a chiropractor. Then there's Marina Mabrey, who decided to throw a late-game shove that looked more like a linebacker tryout. The hit was so intense, the NBA probably considered signing her by mistake. But, of course, Caitlin just got back up like it was nothing because at this point, getting knocked around is basically part of her pre-game warm-up. Stretch, shoot, dodge an elbow, repeat. What's truly wild is how the narrative keeps flipping against her. If she breathes too close to a veteran, she's labeled entitled. If she takes a hard foul, it's brushed off as just part of the game. If she shrugs it off, she's cold or distant. She could literally save a puppy at halftime and still get dragged for not passing it to a teammate. Meanwhile, her fans are out here performing digital CPR on the league every time she gets decked, replaying clips frame by frame like it's the Zapruder film, just a scream. How is that not a flagrant?
Well, I will say this. When Caitlin Clark was out, they lost 55% of their viewership. So, basically, Caitlin Clark is paying all their salaries.
Pretty much.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can hate her as much as you want, but she's brought in millions of fucking dollars. So you should be kissing her ass.
And that kind of defeated the purpose of Angel Reese's argument of she's like, hey, it's not just Caitlin Clark that is bringing all the viewership to the WNBA. It's like, well, it definitely is. It's like it kind of proved that with the viewership rating being down that she significantly increases viewership.
They try so hard to compare her to Caitlin Clark. They try so.
The referees stay quiet, while the league seems more focused on dress codes than actual player safety. It feels like the entire system has lost its mind. At this point, fans aren't just wondering if Caitlin Clark should stick around. They're actively pleading for her to leave. Picture this. She signs a shoe deal, heads to the broadcast booth, or takes her game overseas, where basketball is respected, not turned into a test of how much one woman can take before breaking. In Europe, she'd be paid well, protected on the court, and probably welcomed with flowers, not flying elbows. Let's be honest, the WNBA has turned into a Caitlin Clark content machine, serving up the same tired recipe week after week. Drama, missed calls, and zero support. Fans see it. The media sees it. Even her critics secretly check the schedule just to catch her games. Like her or not, she is the show. But who wants to keep watching the star get dragged down every episode? Caitlin has given more to the league in 2 seasons than some teams have in 20 years, and still, she's treated like an outsider at her own celebration. Even the league's promos feel off. Come see Caitlin Clark and the rest. She's Beyoncé and the rest of the league? A confused Destiny's Child. No disrespect, just the truth.
The Fever and Sun hold a brawl and a basketball game breaks out. This was something. Caitlin Clark, without question, gets raked across the face. I think she gets poked in the eye, but it's difficult to tell.
If you're the Indiana Fever, you cannot stand by and let that happen. They need to make it clear to the officials. If you're going to let this happen, then we're going to stand up for our player and make a mess of the game, and you're going to have a big mess on your hands. So you need to stand up for this. You need to do something about this.
You've just learned with definitive data and beyond question that Caitlin Clark controls more than half the audience for the entire WNBA.
And let's not forget the non-stop gaslighting. It's not that bad. She's being dramatic. She needs to earn her stripes. Really? Because last time we checked, Caitlin Clark has earned more stripes than a zebra in a barcode factory. She's out here averaging 25 points, 8 assists, and about 12 microaggressions a game, all while smiling through it. What more do they want? For her to levitate? Fans aren't blind. They see the double standards. They see the league bending over backward for some players while casually throwing others under the bus. They notice the fake storylines, the passive-aggressive interviews, and the behind-the-scenes locker room politics. And they're exhausted. They're tired of watching Caitlin have to fight for space on a team she practically put on the map. Tired of watching her get left out of all-star voting like it's a middle school clique contest. Tired of pretending any of this is normal or acceptable. If she walks away after the season, it won't be because she couldn't handle it. It'll be because she's wise enough to know when she's being taken advantage of. And honestly, leaving might just be the ultimate power move. The league that can't stop cashing in on her name would suddenly be left in silence. No more sold-out crowds. No more record-breaking views. No more curious fans tuning in just to see what she'll do next.
A lot of us were expecting some sort of dip since Caitlin Clark has been out with injury, but I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said, one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion, but not like this. This news is alarming for the league, and it's alarming for the league because this is such a crucial year for the WNBA.
So, what happens if Caitlin Clark walks away? The league scrambles, rolling out bobbleheads, offering 2-for-1 ticket deals, slapping inspirational quotes on the court, and hoping fans forget. Spoiler alert, they won't. The second Caitlyn exits, the WNBA risks becoming a footnote. Hey, remember that league with that superstar for a minute? Whatever happened to them? And spare us the she should stay and tough it out crowd. Caitlyn has toughed it out through non-stop media backlash, on-court cheap shots, refs who miss calls like it's their job, and players more focused on blocking her shine than playing to win. At some point, this isn't about toughness. It's about self-respect. What's even more baffling is how the league has failed to seize the moment. Caitlyn Clark is a once-in-a-generation talent, relatable, marketable, and still grounded despite being treated like a human piñata. You'd think she'd be getting star treatment, red carpets, major endorsements, polished campaigns, but instead, it's more shade, more fouls, and more missed chances. Fans have had enough. They're not just watching the games, they're watching her fiercely. Clipping plays, calling out the league, demanding better, like unpaid interns in the Caitlyn Clark PR department. And if she chooses to leave after the season, she won't be going alone. She'll be taking millions of fans with her. The ones who fill arenas, stream every game, buy the merch, and scream, "Let's go, Caitlyn," every time she touches the ball.
I am sick and tired of the way they are treating my girl, Caitlyn Clark. I am here to propose a solution. I think they need an enforcer. You know, someone who comes off the bench to kind of lay a smackdown on an opposing team member. I want to get the word out to the Indiana Fever that I am available. I'm ready to identify as whatever I need to in order to get the job. They need someone like me. Why? Because I'm not afraid of any 6-foot tall lesbian. I work out. Now, I have a couple of real good go-to moves in my bag of tricks.
If the WNBA wants to keep Caitlyn Clark, they need to start acting like it, because right now they're giving off major ungrateful roommate energy. Meanwhile, fans are just about ready to pack her bags, drive her to the airport, and cheer as she flies off to a place that actually respects elite talent. In a league desperate for attention, Caitlyn Clark has been the full-course meal, but if all she gets in return is scraps and drama, don't be surprised when she decides she's done. And just when you think things can't get more ridiculous, here comes the cherry on top of this blazing mess. ESPN think pieces. Commentators twisting themselves into knots trying to explain how Caitlyn Clark getting shoved like she owed Marina Mabrey lunch money is somehow her fault. Yes, seriously. Because apparently, in today's world of professional sports, having the nerve to talk a little trash is now enough to justify being thrown around like a gym towel. Forget the shove. Forget the fact that Caitlyn didn't retaliate, didn't lash out, didn't even flinch. She just kept it moving, pure poise, locked in, focused on the game. Meanwhile, ESPN analysts are out here playing armchair psychologists, treating a smirk after a deep three like it's a crime scene clue. She brought it on herself, they say, like she asked to be body slammed mid-play.
A snitch, well, they get into it a bit here. Lexi Hall now gets it. Jordan's face, Caitlyn Clark hits the deck. Sneak besides this what I'm going. Sheldon and Cunningham are getting Caitlyn Clark with a few words with JC shot.
Here's a radical thought. Maybe, just maybe, talking trash is part of the game. Newsflash, this is sports, not Sunday brunch. If you're not chirping, you're probably not really competing. Michael Jordan did it. Kobe thrived on it. Larry Bird basically turned it into an art form. But when Caitlyn Clark does it, suddenly, it's treated like an invitation for players to ditch basketball and audition for the UFC. Even rival players, people who would love to shut her down on the court, have spoken up and admitted, yeah, that shove was out of line. These aren't teammates or fans. These are competitors who've gone toe-to-toe with her and still know the difference between tough play and flat-out dirty behavior. And somehow, they're showing more maturity than half the analysts on TV who act like they've never even seen a basketball court, let alone played on one. Let's be honest. If Caitlyn had responded with a shove of her own, it would have been everywhere. Every sports network, every talk show, maybe even a Lifetime movie dramatizing it. Rookie goes rogue. But she didn't. She stayed composed, stayed focused, didn't take the bait, didn't escalate, didn't make it personal. And still, they found a way to blame her for being pushed. It's like blaming a mailbox for getting hit by a reckless driver. Well, it was standing a little too confidently on the curb.
Caitlin Clark has decided to quit the WNBA and move on and go play over in Europe. I do not blame her. I applaud it. I say do it. Get as far away from the WNBA as you can. Let that league sink. Okay? Do not help them, Caitlin. Get away. I believe you could create your own league. Okay? You could be the fucking player that creates whatever, the next professional women's basketball league. Let this one just go and let Caitlin try to build the next WNBA.
The mental gymnastics surrounding Caitlin Clark could honestly qualify for Olympic gold. She's too confident, they say. She plays with attitude. Right, like every elite athlete in history hasn't. That's what sets the greats apart. But somehow, when it's Caitlin, her confidence is labeled a threat. It becomes a problem, because in this bizarre version of the WNBA rulebook, she's expected to take the hits, take the blame, and stay silent, all at the same time. It's almost impressive how consistently the narrative flips against her, like there's a secret committee constantly rewriting reality. Marina Mabrey delivers a blatant shove. Caitlin keeps her composure. And she's cast as the villain? What's next? Someone elbows her in the face and ESPN runs a segment called "Did Caitlyn Lean Into It?" You can practically hear the brainstorming session. Was her posture confrontational? Were her shoelaces sending the wrong message? Meanwhile, Mabrey is getting defended like a priceless artifact, people jumping through hoops to rationalize her actions like she's some misunderstood artist instead of a professional athlete who just blindsided an opponent. And it's not just the hot takes. It's the tone. The passive-aggressive headlines. The watered-down commentary that reads less like journalism and more like a PR blurb written by someone who once saw a basketball and panicked.
I want to get your opinion, because it's been a minute, on this Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark stuff that's been going on. Brittany Griner a couple of weeks ago in a video says, trash effing white girl when she was playing Caitlin Clark. What's your just kind of 30,000-foot view of this?
There is not an organization more dedicated and committed to self-imploding than the WNBA.
God, that's...
The WNBA was like handed the golden egg that is Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
And they have done everything to just self-destruct.
Yeah.
Whether it's these totally crazy, like, racial investigations that have been proven a hoax.
You know what really has fans fired up? Caitlin Clark has never once asked for special treatment. No media meltdown. No dramatic interviews. No public complaints. She just keeps showing up, game after game, taking the hits and handling it all with professionalism, while others try to turn her story into some over-the-top soap opera where she's inexplicably cast as the villain. Never mind that she's averaging 25 points per game and practically holding the league up on her back. The truth is painfully simple. If Caitlin had thrown that shove, she'd have been ejected, suspended, and dragged through the headlines as everything that's wrong with women's basketball. But because she didn't react, because she stayed calm, she still somehow ends up being painted as the problem. As if her real crime is not smiling enough while getting knocked around at midcourt. Fans aren't blind. They see the double standard. They see the two sets of rules, one for Caitlin and one for everyone else. One for the athlete who's bringing in the money, the views, and the excitement, and yet is somehow not worth defending. And still she plays. Still she shows up. It's infuriating. The WNBA has a generational star in Caitlin Clark, someone who draws crowds, sells out arenas, boosts ratings, and inspires future players. And instead of protecting her, they're treating her like she's just another target. A punching bag with a box score.
Caitlin Clark did her thing. Coming off of the injury, she returned for the Fever, and I swear I am not being hyperbolic. We were immediately gifted one of the greatest halves we have ever seen in the WNBA, and I say that with all context involved. This series from Caitlin Clark, the pull-up three here, and you are about to see back-to-back-to-back triples for Caitlin Clark in this game. I am not trying to erase the things we have seen from Maya Moore, from Diana Taurasi, Asia Wilson's 53-point game, Stewie, Cynthia Cooper. Like, we have seen incredible halves of basketball, but you see Caitlin Clark coming off of that made three from the Liberty. Pull-up, of course. She's making it in that moment.
And even when Caitlin Clark doesn't flinch, when she handles everything with grace and composure, they still try to make her the problem. At this rate, they'd blame her for global warming if it meant squeezing a few more seconds of airtime. So when fans say they want her to leave the WNBA, it's not about abandoning the league. It's about protecting her. They want to see her thrive in an environment where she's not the constant scapegoat for everyone else's insecurities, somewhere that actually respects her talent, instead of twisting every reaction into a morality tale about knowing your place. Because here's the truth. Caitlin Clark isn't the problem. She's the mirror, and a lot of people just can't handle what they see reflected back.